Hey everyone, before we start off the episode, we just want to encourage you all to check out our Patreon where you can support the podcast and donate and get exclusive content. Link for that is patreon.com/thefarmpod.
And if you want to get the latest updates on The Farm, be sure to follow us on Twitter at The Farm Podcast, as well as check out our Instagram at The Farm Podcast as well for some highlights from each week's episode. Thanks for listening.
Welcome to episode 5 of the what's farm in Spanish?
Farmo.
Pharmaceria. Yes, welcome to episode 5 of The Farm. We are doing mobile apps on this episode. We wanted to make the distinction that we're not including games because we want to do a whole episode on that.
Angry Birds and Clash of Clans, man.
Fruit Ninja.
Ooh.
It'll be a heater. It will be a heater. But before we dive into that, we are going to discuss our goats of the week. So Dan's mad at me because I don't have a true goat of the week this week because I do not browse Reddit as he does.
Man's just assuming I get my content from Reddit.
I know. Today I learned.
Whoa!
No, I don't know where he gets his content.
Being attacked.
But it seems Reddit-y. But anyway, so I'm just going to share a story that happened to me yesterday. So it's not even really goaty. It's more woady. Whatever. I'm just sharing it. So yesterday I was at work. And this guy...
Where do you work?
I work at Prep. I've told them before. For all of our new listeners, donate to our Patreon. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram. So I work at Press Coffee. It's like a local Arizona coffee shop. And we have this like drip coffee blend called Early Edition. It's our flagship brand. It's a blend. I didn't know where the beans were from. I've worked there for like a month. And this guy asked me, where's your Early Edition from? I was like, I'm not really sure. I should probably know that. And he's like, yeah, you really should. And I was like, all right, man, chill out. So I go and find someone to like ask where they're from. And they're from where I was like, they're from Ethiopia and Peru. It's a blend. So I tell him that. It's like, yeah, they're from Ethiopia and Peru. It's a blend. And he was like, yeah, gross. Let me find something else. And then he just left. And I was like, what?
There had to have been a camera in there. He had to have been trying to prank
you. It was on. I was like, how do you care this much about a drip coffee?
Well,
drip coffee?
How are you going to go to a chain coffee store and expect
honest
something more than, I don't know.
I mean, like, it's high quality coffee.
I've had different kinds of coffee before.
How do you...
I can kind of tell a difference if you told me.
Yeah.
I've had Ethiopian coffee. It's good.
It's fine.
You know what other coffees I've had? Like 3 other countries. And guess what? I drank them all.
There aren't a lot of... There's like Brazil, Peru, Ethiopia.
El Salvador.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. There are like 5 or 6.
Like Ecuador.
And there's really no difference. There's really... Like, there's a difference in the taste, but like the quality...
It's just coffee.
And then we had a Mexico option.
Oh.
And he didn't want that. I was like, just leave, man.
It tastes like frijoles.
Yeah, it was wild. So that's I'll just call it my woe of the week.
Yeah, that's a woe of the week.
Yep.
Unbelievable. Okay. Mine's different. My goat of the week is some random Turkish teenager. There's this CCTV footage of this dude. He's like standing in the middle of the street and he's like going like this. And everyone's like, what's this dude doing? And this kid falls from 2 stories up in an apartment complex, and he catches this kid.
No way.
This kid stumbles out. He like sees this kid in this window. This kid's like what, 2 years old, I think, and it's like a toddler. And then just falls out, and this kid's like, oh, and he just catches the kid.
Dude, that's like opposite of Final Destination.
Yeah, it's like your first
primary destination.
Boarding the bus. I don't know. Whatever it is, it was crazy. This dude, the Syrian toddler's name was Doha Muhammad, and Fweezy Zabat caught him.
Of course.
So, Shout out to the boys at Bot.
Dude, what a lucky
Crazy.
break.
Oh, yeah. Just unbelievable. So, yeah, that's my go-to.
Wow,
This
that's
Turkish
awesome,
kid.
man.
So-
Did you find that story on Reddit?
Nope. I didn't. So
Where'd you find it?
Not going to give up my source, man. Not going to give up my sources.
All right, dude.
That's what it's all about.
Okay, we're gonna now talk about mobile applications. So it was pretty hard to choose the top 8. We tried to get a good variety and not just do a lot of social medias or I wanted to do the clock app. Let me start by saying that. So that's an honorable mention from me.
For Ben.
But yeah, we're not doing Amazon. We know Amazon's used by everyone, so is Facebook. But we figured that their websites are used a lot more than their apps,
Right.
and the apps themselves aren't goatee. So
There wouldn't be the app without the website, as opposed to vice versa.
Yeah,
Like, there wouldn't
exactly.
be an Instagram.com without the app,
right,
obviously, because you can't post on Instagram.com.
yeah, weirdly, it's kind of interesting. I don't know why they do that.
I don't know either. Like, you have to download a whole third-party application so you can submit it from your computer on.
Oh, I didn't even know you could do that.
Yeah, I've had to do that for various different accounts and stuff.
Annoying.
Yeah,
So I did want to discuss YouTube briefly in the YouTube app.
True.
And just like when I first got an iPod Touch, I don't know what generation iOS it was, probably like 5 or 6. And the YouTube app was like the little television box. That was the logo.
Yeah.
And it was terrible. Like it just did not function optimally. You couldn't, like, you had to keep the app open to listen to whatever you were listening to.
That wasn't fixed until recently, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Wasn't that like iOS like 12?
Yeah, very recently.
Yikes.
So it was like the opposite of pioneering almost.
Right.
Like it showed other apps what not to do.
Which made it pioneering, you know?
In a way.
It's failure.
Okay, so our top 8 for mobile apps were Twitter, Instagram, Spotify. We considered Apple Music as well, but Spotify was kind of the first music streaming app, and they're available on Android.
Yeah.
So that's that. Venmo, Uber, WeChat, which is a Chinese brand. We'll talk about that. Google Maps. Again, we considered Apple Maps. But
Google Maps was the original.
yeah, and Apple Maps was really bad for a time,
Really bad.
similar to YouTube. And then Shazam, not
Shazam!
the hit superhero movie starring
guy
Zachary
that
Levi.
The guy that looks like John Krasinski.
No, the guy that's awesome
That was in
for being in Chuck, the greatest TV show of all time. So anyway, without further ado, Dan, what's our first matchup? I don't even know. I haven't looked at the bracket yet.
WeChat versus Google Maps. Two very similar applications.
Woo-hoo-hoo. All right. You
Um,
want to talk about WeChat?
Oh, I would love to. So for those of you that do not know what WeChat is, you've probably seen it before if you're a college student. A lot of the Chinese exchange students use that. It is what they're texting on and using. But this is more than just a texting application. This is the all-in-one app. You could download a smartphone and then throw the WeChat on there, and it could be the only app you really need. So it was launched in 2011, so I think it's actually the most recent of all of our apps, if I am not mistaken.
I think so.
Yeah. And so, by just like a year. And so, it has a social media aspect to it, where you can post pictures, your likes, quick thoughts. It has the messaging app, of course. It's similar to WhatsApp, which is another app that we considered. And then it has something I think that's really cool. It has kind of a integrated economic thing with it, where it has like, it's kind of like Venmo. So this is actually, Venmo's trying to copy some of the stuff that WeChat is already implementing. So you have money, correct me if I'm wrong, but like it's, you put your money onto your WeChat app, and then you can make transactions using that. And then you can transfer that money back to a card or a bank account.
It's like Venmo.
It's a lot like
It's a
Venmo,
payment
but
service.
yeah, but it's a payment service. And so a lot of vendors, they have little QR codes at their places, and so you just scan it on your phone, and then it pays them what they need. It's really cool.
Dude, that's just like Apple Wallet or Google Wallet.
Yeah, but it's different.
But it's Chinese.
But it's all in one.
No, I
app.
know. It is cool that it's all one app.
It's like really easy. Everyone uses it. It makes transactions a lot easier. I think most of the stores there use it. Has 1 billion users.
Monthly active users, yep.
1 billion.
I know.
That's like 1/7-ish of the world uses this app every month.
Insane.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Like,
it also puts into perspective how populated China is. Because it's almost, I don't know the
it's
exact.
not exclusively China, but it's
largely
mostly China. Yeah. 1 billion people.
It's crazy.
Unbelievable. Dude. And they also have this other cool service. It's called like City Services or whatever. So you can like book doctor's appointments through WeChat.
That's pretty cool.
That's so cool. You know how much easier to make everything?
Yeah.
The biggest downside to it is the mass surveillance that is being done through it by the Chinese government. Mm-hmm. They have everybody's information all handily in one app. It is a government-sponsored app. And they have... So there's this thing called like Friend Radar or whatever. You can see like other WeChat users around you and you can connect with them, message them. But it also creates heat maps of where people are, and it lets the Chinese government know of illegal mass gatherings. So,
Good.
That's a cool thing.
Kind of violating some human rights there.
Mild human rights violations being happening through WeChat, but it's a really cool app. Great idea. And they're still expanding a little bit. They are moving towards the more European market now to kind of encapsulate those people. I think they're trying to steal some market share from WhatsApp because... Why not, I guess. I don't know. They've got the money and the resources to do it. And so they're still expanding. It only launched in 2011. So maybe one day we'll all have our human rights violated.
Yeah, the only thing I want to touch on is the accomplishments criterion. So
Possible.
They almost have the opposite of accomplishments because they do have accomplishments. They scored a perfect 0 out of 100
really?
From Amnesty International's ranking on like how well they protect human rights of their users.
That's kind of cool.
Perfect 0.
Perfect 0.
I know. They crushed it.
That's pretty good.
They couldn't have gotten
any. Try to do that.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, they are trying to violate.
Yeah.
Okay, so they did a great job.
Right.
Okay, there. Okay.
Yeah, and Apple lists them as a top 25 most popular apps infected by malware.
Whoa.
I know. So they're making top 25 lists as well?
That's pretty good.
No, but all jokes aside, I don't know. I think it's kind of unfortunate that China's able to access and expose text messages, contact books,
right.
like you see locations of its users. I don't want to get that political, obviously. And we have a friend, actually Cameron, who's on the show, who... is like a big proponent of the idea that sometimes the U.S. media can like distort what's actually true overseas to push their agenda. So there's different sides to the story, right. Which is why I don't want to say
everything with a grain of salt.
Yeah, exactly. But
the app idea is great.
It is. The app idea is awesome.
Props to whoever came up with
execution. I don't know. A little controversial, but yes. So please don't clip any of those quotes from me. Okay, Google Maps is whom they're up against. So Google Maps also has over 1 billion monthly active users. I believe they are the only 2 apps on this list who have
that kind of reach.
Have eclipsed 1 billion. So yeah, I mean Google Maps is Google Maps. I don't know how much else to say. Everyone uses it.
It was the primary app or Mapple. Hey now, the app for Maps on Apple. Wow, that was hard.
Obviously Android.
Yeah, before Apple Maps came out, that was even their default. There was some criticism of it. It was okay at the beginning, not great.
Yeah.
But, I mean...
People have preference, I prefer Apple Maps, but I think that's just iPhone users.
Guy.
I use Waze, actually. Love Waze.
Waze is pretty great. Waze is actually it's mandatory that you use either that or Google Maps for Lyft drivers. You can't use Apple Maps.
Interesting.
Yeah, kind of a fun little fact. I mean, yeah, the GPS thing.
Yeah, I took some from its influence score just because, like you mentioned the other day, there were GPS systems, standalone
like
like a Garmin. But, I mean, it just made it better, and more accessible,
No,
more reliable. It's probably way more accurate. The algorithms are probably way more advanced. So in a way, it was a pioneer for just like the next evolution. It's like
it's just a step forward.
Yeah, it's like the Xbox 360 wasn't a pioneer for. Well, it was a pioneer for a lot of things. It wasn't a pioneer for like 3D gaming.
No.
For example, it just made a lot of things a lot better.
Yeah, just made it HD.
So it's like that.
Yeah, I mean Google Maps is great. I have nothing against it.
So I have Google Maps winning this one.
I had a tie.
Okay.
So Google Maps moves on. Congratulations, Google. Sorry, Chinese government.
Oh man. All right.
Please don't kidnap me in my sleep.
Yeah. I'm sorry. Sorry.
All right. So our next matchup is Venmo and Twitter.
Okay, I haven't actually. I forgot a total Venmo's.
Well, then I'll talk about Venmo.
Okay.
Where are we? Okay, so launched in 2009. It is owned by PayPal, which was started by Elon Musk, so it is the single greatest app on the internet.
Yeah, Elon Musk, bro.
Love Elon.
Awesome guy.
My top app is the Tesla app, actually. So in quarter one of 2018, just to kind of give you the scope of what Venmo does, they handled $12 billion in transactions in one quarter.
Yeah.
One single quarter.
That's crazy.
That's a lot of money.
That's nuts.
And so they kind of took a different approach. Well, so first of all, they kind of did the whole wire transfer market, and they made it a lot easier for everybody to do.
Mm-hmm.
You can send your money friends for rent, for utilities, for a drink at the bar, for whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So that made it much easier for people. It made consumers' lives a lot easier instead of having to go to the bank and say, I need to do a wire transfer to Ben's account for $4 for the margarita he bought me last night. Like, that's not going to happen. But it also kind of added a social component to banking, which was something I would never consider before.
Never.
But it's kind of interesting looking at, for those of you that don't use Venmo, there's a social page where you can see you can say Dan paid Ben, it doesn't say the amount, for Hillary Duff music. I don't know.
True, dude.
So like,
the whole collection.
You can just see what people are paying other people for, and it's weirdly interesting to look at.
I agree. It was definitely the first to blend social media and a payment service. I don't know. I mean, I don't sit there and look at who paid. I guess maybe at first. Private. Yeah. At first I was like, oh, this is kind of funny. And then now I just pay.
Yeah.
Or collect and then exit the app.
Yeah, it's not much.
So that doesn't have a lot of staying power, but it's still really useful.
No, it's incredibly useful.
Even without its social aspect.
One of the criticisms of it was that they claim to have bank level security, but they don't.
Right.
So they have to go through an audit every 2 years for the next 10 years. So I love auditing. So
auditors, baby.
Shout out to the auditing community. We getting paid out here.
Auditor Association of America. Is that a thing?
There's the Arizona Auditors Association.
Yep. Okay.
What? So they have started to roll out QR codes similar to WeChat, where vendors can have their own specialized QR codes, and then people can just scan it, and then it'll automatically pay the vendors. So that's kind of a cool new technology. But the reach is really not that big on Venmo. They have 40 million users, which alone sounds like a lot, but then you look at WeChat and they have 20 times that.
It is the most for a payment service. Cash App, which I actually used before Venmo, has just 6 million.
Yeah.
So it's the most. Yeah.
If we were making a list of just payment apps and banking apps, then sure, maybe it would be a really high score. But compared to the rest of these apps, not that much reach. Has a few awards randomly, like trade streaming awards, new media awards. So that's kind of cool because it's like the top payment app. So I don't really know what to weight those as, but it is what it is.
Yeah, I think the thing about Venmo is it's really good, and I think it's going to be around for a while.
I think it's going to stay, yeah.
I think it faces a lot of competition. Like I said, Cash App, there's Zelle. I think Wells Fargo owns that, or they just utilize it. And
Snapcash.
Yeah, and I mean, when Bitcoin and crypto explodes, then there's no need for Venmo. It's back up to 11K,
man. It's back up to 11K.
True. But I think it's becoming more ingrained into society. I was talking to someone at work the other day about how they use Venmo to pay their landlord. Like just some random dude, and I know people that do that. So I think that might.
I mean, that's how like we handle bills. Like we send each other money for.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I mean, there's this restaurant here, and the valet was accepting payments through their weird payment service app, instead of cash. So it's becoming more relevant.
Yeah, I think it's gonna kind of overtake debit cards eventually.
Yeah, probably.
I mean, it already kind of is, like with Apple Pay and all that kind of stuff. Like, no one wants to carry on an extra. Like, I don't want to carry my wallet around. That's one more thing for me to lose.
It's true.
So if I had it on my phone, and WeChat. If I had WeChat, everything would be so much easier. I wouldn't have to worry about my
This
privacy.
message is sponsored by the People's Republic.
The People's Republic of China.
No, just... Alright, who's Venmo up against? Twitter?
Yeah, Twitter.
Do you
talk about Twitter a little bit?
Okay, so this is gonna... I don't want to have like some super millennial take on Twitter. Oh, it's the best app, dude. I love Twitter. I get all my news from Twitter.
I get all my podcast information from twitter.com at the Farm Podcast.
True.
All right.
I don't know where to start on Twitter.
It was launched in 2006, so it's an oldie.
It is an oldie.
One of the old ones on
I guess I'll start with its reach. It has 320, or as of last year, it had over 320 million monthly active users. Used by almost a quarter of all U.S. adults, according to a Pew Research study. On Election Day of 2016, it was the largest source of breaking news, more than any actual
reputable
news source. If there are any these days. So, yeah, it has crazy reach. In 2012, it had over 1 billion search queries daily, which is interesting because I rarely search things on Twitter.
Only when I can't find something immediately.
Yeah, exactly.
Is when I start breaking out the old search function.
Right. So, in terms of its influence and pioneering, you could argue that it kind of just took what Facebook was already doing and consolidated it. But I would argue that it was the first cross-section of news and social media. Which is really big, and I think that kind of ties into its projected relevance. I think it's going to be relevant for a while because people always need to know the news, and they also like interacting with people. Plus, it's also just like a place for conversation and now memes and comedy and stuff, too. It's not just like a super serious website. So it kind of hits all the marks really well. You can it's very customizable, so you can kind of get whatever experience out of Twitter you want. You can either like tweet a bunch and be very vocal on Twitter, or you could just follow a bunch of people.
Yeah. It's I found like a funny little thing, kind of like on the evolution of it. Like now we definitely get more like news content, like actual information from it. But a 2009 research study was done by Pear Analytics, and they found that 40.1% of the content on Twitter was labeled as useless babble.
Yeah.
So my entire Twitter feed of what I tweet is pretty much considered useless babble. But yeah, I think it's a great way for them to, kind of even for people to interact with celebrities even, or public officials.
For sure.
Which is a really fun new way to look at it. Like, people I know get like, oh, I got favorited from this person or that person. Like, I tweeted at Daniel Radcliffe and he blocked me. Like, whoa. Like, just like different. I think that's just like a really cool way to look at the world. It kind of brings everybody more connected.
Yeah. No, absolutely. I would say at the same time, I think it's also fun for celebrities to use it too and interact with people. And I mean, different celebrities have differing levels of vocalization, like how much they tweet. Right. But like Lil Nas X tweets all the time, for example. Yeah. He just comes to mind because he just came out yesterday, so it's just been all over my feed. But I mean, Kanye used to be really vocal. I actually read something that because of his criticism of Twitter, that's how they created verified users, and they got sued by someone else.
Really?
Yeah, because he was saying there's so many parody accounts of me. No one knows who I like. Who's the real? Yay? Man, I'm just no.
that's the podcast for this week.
This has been a rough episode for me and potential clips. Anyway, so yeah, I think that's cool.
Yeah, great. I'll use it all the time. I get all my news sources from there. It's NBA free agency right now. I have alerts popping up from Shams and Woj. So
yeah, true.
It's a big time. It's a good time to be alive right now.
Yep. Shout out Shams and Woj. Retweet.
If you guys are listening.
We know you are.
Yeah, come on.
So I have Twitter.
I had Twitter.
Winning this one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry, Venmo.
All right. Third. Actually, let's take a break, and then we'll come back and finish the quarterfinals.
All right.
Peace. All right, welcome back, everyone. We're going to finish off our quarterfinals by discussing
Shazam!
Shazam versus whom? Instagram.
The old IG.
Shazam and Instagram. All right.
Which one do you want to talk about more?
I'll talk about Shazam. I don't. So I don't know how much we have to explain Shazam. It's an app where you press record or whatever. You press a button.
Press Shazam.
You press the button, and then it lets you know what song is playing. So for all those times you're like, oh my gosh, this song is so good. What song is this? You press Shazam. Dude, I should be a Shazam spokesperson.
Shazam sponsor us.
This is so good. And then it tells
Shazam!
you. So you can use our promo code, Shazam.com/thefarm and get, no.
You can get Shazam for free.
You can also get it without our promo code for free.
True.
So yeah, that's what it is.
Crazy stuff.
It's awesome. I don't know. It has 250 million, or in 2012 it had 250 million users across 200 countries. It has 100 million monthly active users. So more than I thought, honestly. That was more than I anticipated. First of its kind, like really revolutionary. I'd say the most revolutionary on this list.
Yeah, maybe.
Besides maybe
Mr.
like
WeChat.
WeChat, I guess.
Good old WeChat, baby.
The government spy got us through our Shazam searches. I don't know. It's popular. I don't know anyone who would dislike Shazam.
I hate how useful it is. Well, you can also use it for TV shows and movies.
Really?
Yeah.
I did not know that.
They have a whole library of movies and TV shows where you can do the same thing as before.
That's awesome.
And it'll say, oh, yeah, you're watching The Big Bang Theory.
Wow.
Don't know why you'd be watching The Big Bang Theory, but you can. It'll identify it for you.
No, yeah, it's awesome. I really don't have that much to say. It's great. You don't have to Google random lyrics. Dude, one time, I may have told you this, when Don't Drop That Dun 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 was popular.
Hey!
I didn't know what it was called when I first heard it.
Are you serious?
Yeah, I heard it on the radio.
The song where they scream the title of it?
I was like half listening, so I just heard like dun 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 dun. Hey, so I literally Googled what's the song that goes dun 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 dun, rap,
And it found it.
and it found it.
That's kind of dope.
So, but Shazam would have made that a lot easier.
So much easier.
So that's Shazam.
Yeah, and they're owned now by Apple, and so something that I've found extremely useful is whenever I Shazam something, it creates a playlist in my Apple Music library. Shout out Apple Music. Spotify can go.
I think Spotify does that too. No cap.
Well, I don't use Spotify. No, but it does create a whole playlist in your Apple Music or Spotify, I don't know, library where my Shazam tracks, where it keeps them all nice and tidy for you. But it actually began, this is the oldest one out of all of our apps. Well, I guess the company itself started in 2002 as a dial-in service. So you called Shazam, and then you held your phone up, and like the audio that it recorded, it would take it, process it, and then send you a text with what it was, and then like a download link to the
It
song.
like fax you.
Yeah,
a paper.
it sends you a pigeon with the title written on a piece of paper. It's crazy. So that's kind of cool. That it started.
It's awesome.
It's the original phone app, I guess.
Yeah,
where
yeah.
You literally had to use your phone.
That's awesome.
To find out what the music was. So yeah, I mean, 1,800 different registered artists on there, 30 billion Shazams. 400,000 downloads a day due to Shazam of different songs, and valued over $1 billion. And do you know what the most Shazam track of 2017 was?
What?
The Shape of You by Ed Sheeran.
Really?
Fun little fact
That's funny.
found. They won a
That's
Webby Award
hilarious.
too, so that's all I know about Shazam. Pretty cool.
All right, man. You want to talk about Instagram?
The Graham baby at the Farm Podcast on Instagram.
Thanks.
They were launched in 2010. They had 1 million users in 2 months. 2 months.
Like initially?
Yeah.
That's insane.
That's crazy.
That's crazy.
They have over 1 billion users in 2019 annually, which is
That's buku.
crazy. That's WeChat level of reach. All right.
We love you, WeChat. Yeah. We totally condone it.
That's so great, WeChat.
Okay. All right.
So one of the big things about Instagram is that it's been praised so strongly for its just simplicity. It is, I'm posting a picture. Here's my caption.
Yep.
Here it is. This is it. And it's kind of opened this really bizarre new wave of influencing.
Yes.
I guess.
Influencer marketing, baby.
I hate the term influencer, but that's what it is. It's people have amassed these crazy followings and people will pay tens of thousands of dollars for you just to post your product on their page.
Yeah.
It's opened a whole new trend of viral marketing just for posting pictures.
It's kind of effective, too.
It's incredibly effective, unless you do paid promotions for your own Instagram account, in which you get 3,500 impressions and
We've heard.
followers.
We don't know that from
we've
personal
heard.
experience. Yeah.
But that's another crazy thing about it. It's so easy to do a promotion. Like, we did a test promotion with one of our posts on Instagram at the Farm Podcast, where we spent like $14 over a week, and we just threw it in a random geographic location where maybe.
Where did we do? Where'd you choose?
Oh, Los Angeles for sure.
Oh man, dude, that's
so we
hilarious.
reached 35 people in Los Angeles just to see what happened, and it took me 3 minutes to set it up.
That's awesome.
It's so easy to promote your own posts. You can contact people to have them promote your products. It's so great for advertisers. It's won Webby Awards, Shorty Awards, all of the internet awards, whatever. And it's just fun. I don't know. They have a discover page where you can find new accounts. They use hashtags as well as Twitter does. You can post videos on there. I think I saw this thing. They posted videos, like they allowed videos in 2012, I think. And when they first introduced videos, 5 million videos were uploaded in 24 hours.
Wow.
5 million videos. There is a 60-second cap on it, so we can't post the entire podcast on there, but we do post 60-second highlights every week after every episode.
At the Farm Podcast.
Follow us on the Farm Podcast on Instagram. Weird.
Easy.
So, yeah, I mean, that's pretty much what I have to say about Instagram. Great platform.
Yeah.
I like to use it. They stole stories from Snapchat, but that's all right. They did it as well, if not a little better, because you can... It's actually just the exact same thing. Now that I think about all the features, it is the exact same thing.
Yeah, so that's a good segue into a couple knocks I had on Instagram. So I want to preface this by saying that I do love Instagram. I think it's a great mobile app.
Not as much as we love WeChat.
Please don't come after us.
I'm so sorry.
So, yeah, like you say, they just blatantly stole stories from Snapchat.
Yes.
There's no other way around it. They're even called stories.
Yeah.
IGTV, which they launched last summer, it's just YouTube.
Yeah.
Except vertical. So, but I mean, it's like you pretty much touched upon everything else. It's a great app.
Yeah.
I will also say my other knock is that there have actually been studies that show that it's really bad for mental health.
Oh, terrible. The worst.
Yeah, like gives people anxiety, self-confidence issues. Mm-hmm. And it's true. I mean, like people care a lot, not everyone, but a lot of people care about the amount of likes they get and who likes it and whether or not this person's getting more likes than them and why and blah, blah, blah. So it's kind of frustrating and it shouldn't be that. But
it's kind of opened this whole fake... like, a lot of people post about, like, oh, my life isn't perfect. Like, people are just posting their best content on Instagram. People will Facetune their pictures, Photoshop, do whatever, and make it look a lot... And people will see this and be like, I need to achieve this. I need to be like that. I need to look like this.
It's not realistic.
It's not realistic. What is realistic is how great our content is on Instagram. All right, but
I have a couple interesting stats about Instagram. 90% of its users are under the age of 35.
that doesn't surprise me at all.
90? That
90's
large of an amount is insane. Under 35?
Yeah.
It's not under like 45 or 50. Under 35. And also 68% of users are female. I did not know that.
Huh.
I would have guessed they were closer to like 55, 45.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
60, how much? 65? 68?
68. Almost 70%.
I would have said like 60.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. But that's still a lot. That's crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy how they're also just like neutral, like no gender, like the farm podcast on there, right?
Not like it's a bunch of dudes on there.
No, but yeah, it's crazy that there are awesome other accounts like the farm podcast.
Wild.
All right, well, I have
Instagram winning this one. Not really a question. Sorry, Shazam.
I actually have Shazam winning this one. But I think I was kind of harsh on Instagram, and I'm willing to give Instagram the dub on this one.
Love it. No conflict. Easy.
I gave him 4 6s.
Ooh, Instagram?
Yeah.
I gave them 1 6. I just didn't give.
I just don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I don't really want to talk about it.
Yeah, but all right, we're going with Instagram.
Instagram. Oh, is that our last one, or do we have
one more?
Oh my goodness.
Good old fashioned Uber and Spotify.
Okay.
Classic battle. Let's see. I'll talk about Uber.
Okay.
Uber, 2009, serves over 63 countries and 110 million worldwide users.
It's crazy.
That is both as many as I thought and not as many as I thought it would be, because I feel like everyone talks about Uber, but whatever.
Right.
I don't know how many Lyft has. Less. But it is on the up and up. So it's kind of become the standard for rideshare or similar style apps. There's this term called Uberization, which is just kind of people saying this is the Uber of this, or this is like it's the process of people taking a normal service industry and turning it into like a user run thing. It's a lot more hands off than normally it would be, like hiring your own drivers. So that's kind of cool. It's kind of spread this whole new business model, which is crazy. Like it's kind of opened the door for DoorDash. Uber Eats has their own thing now. We would not have Lime scooters or Birds. I think without the Uber model. And it's great for the very off chance that you live under a rock and don't know what Uber is. You get on your phone, you say, I'm here and I want to go here, and it'll take one of their drivers that is out and about, and it'll send a thing to their phone. They'll say, yes, I want to accept this ride. They come pick you up, take you where you need to go, and it's a dynamic pricing model, so it's flat fare, minimum fare, and then you get charged per minute and per mile. And then most of the money goes to the driver, and then the rest goes to the company. For Lyft, it was 75-25 driver company. And then tips, which were started by Lyft, not Uber, interestingly enough. Lyft originally was the one that had tips available on the app. Uber later got that after complaints, and people were starting to steal cash tips from Ubers. Disgusting. And so the idea came after the founder of Uber. He spent $800 on a night to rent a car for their whole New Year's night, which is still about the cost it takes to get an Uber on New Year's. But he said there should be a much easier way to do this instead of having to rent a car all night. So he went and he got this idea. Like, oh, why not have people do it? Like just random people out there. Great way to make some money. It's a lot of people's side hustles. It was mine for a little bit. The drivers, you have to go through a background check. They do have to have a certain what's the word I'm looking for? Their car has to be a certain year or more recent than that. Has to go through inspections and stuff. So I think it's a great model. I use Uber all the time. They give a lot of discounts. I just got a 30% discount today. So someone come Uber with me. We can go have fun. I don't know. It's good to see someone hang out with me, please. I'm sick of seeing Ben all the time.
drive.
Let's just go
to Uber.
Anywhere.
So Uber to the same destination, but go in like a weird loop.
Take the long way. So that's Uber.
Yeah. There are a lot of criticisms of Uber that I found.
A lot of criticism.
It kind of killed the taxi industry. I guess they overcrowd roads, which makes sense.
See, I don't think killing over the taxi industry is a bad thing.
I don't either.
Yeah.
Unless you're a taxi driver.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's just business.
Yeah. A business, baby.
That's the way it works. Darwinism.
I have been told, not only by the internet, but by drivers I've had, that they have poor driver compensation and benefits. And a lot of my Uber drivers have switched to Lyft.
Yes, Lyft does have superior benefits. They have Lyft stations and like Lyft they have their own. I forget what they're called, but they're like have service centers now that are just dedicated to Lyft drivers, and they started. I think they're the ones that started that you can rent a car from Lyft to use as your Lyft vehicle.
Oh wow!
And so, which is really great.
That's
Uber
cool.
I think is doing that now too. That you can lease out their vehicles. But I was a Lyft driver for like a year and a half, on and off, and I definitely had great experiences with Lyft. They're really easy. They give you free stuff. They give you great discounts every week.
Yeah.
Like I could get like $100 off like a laptop computer, just for being a Lyft driver.
Wow.
I got gas. Depending on how many rides you give, you could get up to 10 cents off a gallon of gas at Shell stations. So a lot of benefits to being a Lyft driver.
Use Dan's promo code. So you may be wondering why we chose Uber over Lyft. I think Uber came before Lyft.
Yes, Uber was the original. And it's, as a Lyft driver, people would say, they'd be like, yeah, I'm on my way. I'm in the Uber right now.
Yeah, it's so true. I do that.
I'm like, no,
I'm
you're
guilty
not.
of that.
But
Yeah, I mean, with all the criticism, I think like it helps people who don't have access to a vehicle get from point A to point B without having to rely on public transportation. Obviously, you need a smartphone, which is costly, and not everyone has access to that, and very fortunate to add that. But it just provides another way for people to get around and get to whatever they need to go to.
Yeah.
So,
and it's good for people that just need to pick up some cash.
It's true.
It's way easier than being a taxi driver.
Being your own boss, baby.
BYOB.
So, yeah.
Uber. Yay.
Uber everywhere.
Yeah.
And they're facing Hoomst.
Spotify.
Alright, I'll talk about Spotify. I'm the Spotify user of the duo. So, Spotify, I actually was not sure if they were the first music streaming software, if they just popularized it, but they were the first real, true streaming software. There was Napster, which was a peer-to-peer music sharing software in which like I could transfer a song to you over the internet, but it was like really sketchy. A lot of artists got mad because they're
technically pirated.
Yeah, they got sued a few times. Watch The Social Network, get a whole story from there. And then it also has like a radio feature too, which was essentially Pandora.
And Soundhound. Don't forget about
Soundhound, true. Or Last FM.
Oh, true.
But Spotify just kind of put it all together. They thrived because they started in a time where like internet was getting really fast and could support their platform. I love Spotify. You love Apple Music, which is pretty much the same thing.
Spotify, by the way.
No. Also, we also chose it because Android users can use it as well.
Right.
So yeah, I mean, I don't know.
They kind of changed the way people look at music.
They did, and they do have criticisms like any other streaming software mainly by artists, because I guess they like don't earn as much as they think they should.
Right.
Well,
they also pay the label. They don't pay the artist.
Mm-hmm. I think they pay 75% goes to the label.
Yeah. Which is
something like that. I guess you get. I looked it up, and you get like $0.006. So, like half a cent. You get half a cent from per stream.
That's actually pretty good.
It's not.
Dude, Ed Sheeran got 500 million streams on Shape of You, which is the...
Well, yeah, if you're a crazy popular artist, it's awesome.
Yeah,
but
that's fair. For smaller artists, it's probably...
Yeah, like 10,000, you get $600. Or, yeah, $600. Yeah. Or $60. $60.
That's not that good.
No. 1,000 listens is $6. Yeah.
Yikes!
So, I mean... I don't know, but that's not really on Spotify. That's just any music streaming platform. They're just kind of at the forefront of the criticism because they did it first.
Right. So. And that's caused, like, Taylor Swift pulled her music from Spotify for a while.
Yeah.
I've also seen criticism for censorship where people that are socially kind of have done some abject things that a lot of people probably don't agree with. They don't host their music. they removed that policy, but there's still, I think I saw a list of 3 or 4 artists that they still are blacklisting from Spotify. Because they originally, it was like XXX, XXX, they put him off the website. They eventually brought him back on, but there was a few other people I hadn't really heard of that they are blackballing because of outside misconduct. Which
it's impossible. It's such a fine line because on one hand you have your audience that's very progressive and doesn't want any of those things and cares about social issues that like XXX obviously doesn't. But then you have your other audience who cares about listening to either XXX or like artist rights and censorship.
Right.
So either way, you're fighting against some social cause. They can't win.
Difficult to handle that.
And I think for the most part, Spotify does a really good job about tackling all those things.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I mean, it's overall a great app. They were the top downloaded iOS app in 2017. They won the Tech Pioneer Award in 2011. They have Webby Awards. It's just well done to Spotify for changing the music streaming game.
Yeah. I have... I
think I have Spotify winning this one.
I do.
Yeah, I do. That's Spotify. Congratulations.
All right. Semifinals, baby.
Google Maps and Twitter.
Google Maps and Twitter.
Oh, man.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
This could be rough.
I don't really have much to say, man. Like,
I have Google Maps winning this one.
Wait, actually? Mm-hmm. I have Twitter winning this one.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, so I will admit, this is the first time I've done this. I originally had Twitter winning it. Not knowing the matchups, not knowing the scores. And then I looked through all my scores, and Twitter had the highest score over Google Maps. And I changed the scores around.
Why?
Because
Google Maps does
I feel very biased about Twitter. Like, it's my favorite app by a large margin. But like Maps, you use Maps, there's so much more universally used and helpful than Twitter.
That Twitter is a better app because it created a whole new segment of technology, and like I think we would be fine. We would get along fine with just using GPS systems. It'd be a little more inconvenient. My dad still does it, I think, actually. But I think Twitter has created, because it was a new technology, it did something different than apps did. I think that puts it a step above what it was. Maps made something better. Twitter created a whole new kind of segment. They were the only one, I think, out of all the social medias I've looked at that had it listed under both a news source and a social media.
That's true. All right, man. I mean, I have no complaints, and I only have Google Maps winning by 1.
Fair enough. I mean, yeah, they won the South by Southwest Tech Prize in 2007. That's really cool. That's, I think, the most impressive award on here.
It is. Except also, it seemed like almost kind of a gag because they were very intertwined. You know, like people were tweeting a lot about the Southwest. What's it called?
South by Southwest.
South by Southwest conference, and it was almost like a shout out from the conference. Yeah. Like shout out to Twitter. Like, and the person that had announced the awards, I forgot what it was, but he said something that was kind of like jokey about it. But that doesn't mean it doesn't deserve it. Yeah. But I think they kind of played off of each other.
Yeah, for sure.
They lost Best Social App. They were the runner-up for Best Social App in the Tech Crunchies, which I guess is a thing, to Daily Booth. Do you know what Daily Booth is?
Isn't that just like one of those garbage news sites?
Dude, I think that's Daily Beast or Daily Mail.
Oh, yeah, Daily Mail.
I don't even know what Daily Booth is. I meant to look it up and I forgot, honestly.
Daily Booth?
It's a photo blogging website. Oh, I think I remember
Instagram?
It's like a Tumblr, I think.
Oh.
It's designed for users to take a photo of themselves every day with a caption. So it's like Instagram. Just worse. Just way worse. Way worse.
Weird premise.
Yeah.
Really weird premise. All right, well.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Okay.
Twitter. Winning.
What was your score for Google Maps, out of curiosity?
32.
Really?
I gave a lot of low scores this time. I didn't know I broke 40.
Excuse me. What's the next one?
Alright, what?
Alright. What's the next one?
Wow, Instagram and Spotify. This was a close matchup.
Hold on, I sneeze. I'm good.
Alright. It's about to become a one-man podcast.
I have Spotify winning this one.
I've got Insta by a point.
I have Spotify by 3.
Spotify it is. That makes things interesting.
So, yeah. One thing about Instagram is well, I think I said this, I give it 4 6s.
Yeah.
It's like pretty good in a lot of things. Alright, so Spotify versus whom?
Spotify versus Twitter. The Twitter machine. This is a tie.
This is the most millennial take of all time.
But see...
Oh, millennials, I hate millennials!
But there weren't apps before the millennial generation. It's not like Thomas Jefferson was doing stuff.
Back in my day. Oh, man. Yeah, that's very true.
So, this is the millennial episode, so y'all can deal.
And that's the T,
That's the T, sis.
All right. I don't know.
Take that, baby boomers.
Okay. All right.
What's your winner, man? Let's end this.
Sorry.
This nightmare of an episode.
Yeah, this is a grind of an episode. All right.
That almost died. We're talking about tea out here. Next episode, your favorite memes.
Subtly, not so subtly, adding an entire nation.
Honestly.
All right, I have
podcast.
I have Spotify winning this one.
It's so Spotify. I had a tie.
So. Oh wait! I thought we were doing Spotify and Instagram still. Sorry.
Whoa!
I have Twitter winning this one.
Whoa!
Yeah.
Really?
Even with my new adjusted score.
Even with the kind of biased, but not really.
But like to eliminate bias.
All right. So what was your score for Twitter?
38.
38? I had 36 for Twitter.
All right. It was originally 40.
So you had 38 and I had 36?
Yep.
Did
you have Twitter winning? Oh, you had a tie?
I had a tie. So we have a 37 composite score for Twitter. That puts it at the bottom.
Oof.
Oprah, you're not the worst.
Well, Twitter uses Oprah. I mean both, I guess.
What?
I guess it works both ways. I was going to say Oprah uses Twitter.
She does use Twitter. But
Twitter also uses Oprah.
Is this some kind of WeChat? That puts Oprah at number 4. Twitter is at number 5 for season 2. Kanye West remains atop at 44. Xbox, Real Madrid, Oprah, Twitter is our final scores.
Sweet. That's it for today's episode. Thanks for listening.
You survived this long? Thank you.
Appreciate ya. See ya.